Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. I always have optimism, but I'm realistic. It was not with the expectation of great success that I started Tesla or SpaceX. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. I do think there is a lot of potential if you have a compelling product and people are willing to pay a premium for that. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. If you want to grow a giant redwood, you need to make sure the seeds are okay, nurture the sapling, and work out what might potentially stop it from growing all the way along. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve. Great companies are built on great products. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. It's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. The only thing that makes sense to do is strive for greater collective enlightenment. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. I think most of the important stuff on the internet has been built. There will be continued innovation, for sure, but the great problems of the internet have essentially been solved. It's very important to like the people you work with, otherwise your job is going to be quite miserable. The first step is to establish that something is possible. Then probability will occur. There's a tremendous bias against taking risks. Everyone is trying to optimize their ass covering. You want to have a future where you're expecting things to be better, not one where you're expecting things to be worse. I don't think it's a good idea to plan to sell a company. If you want to make a product that people love, you should make a product that's lovable. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. We have a strict no assholes policy at SpaceX. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things. I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. If you create something that has value to the world, it doesn't matter how challenging the road is because you are adding something to the world. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Life is too short for long-term grudges. The future of humanity is going to bifurcate in two directions. Either it's going to become multiplanetary, or it's going to remain confined to one planet, and eventually there's going to be an extinction event. We're going to make it happen. As God is my bloody witness, I'm hell-bent on making it work. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but people who work for me did. I think it's important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. It's not about money. It's about the people you have, how you're led, and how much you get it. The future belongs to sustainable energy, and it will happen faster than you think. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. There are a lot of dumb regulations that are put in place, and it's not that there aren't people in government who care, it's that they are not structurally incentivized to get rid of dumb things and create new and better things. You shouldn't give up unless you're forced to give up. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. If you create a business that takes nothing but money, it's a po business. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. There's a silly notion that failure's not an option at NASA. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. I don't believe in process. In fact, when I interview a potential employee and he or she says that it's all about the process, I see that as a bad sign. If something's important enough, you should try, even if you think you can't succeed. It's important to have a sense of wonder, to get excited about possibilities. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. The secret to success is to work hard, believe in yourself, and take the opportunities when they come. You shouldn't be investing in companies that are trying to optimize their stock price. You should be investing in companies that are trying to make great products. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. My biggest mistake is probably weighing too much on someone's talent and not someone's personality. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. You want to be extra rigorous about making the best possible thing you can. Find everything that's wrong with it and fix it. Seek negative feedback, particularly from friends. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better.